Let's see if I can see it on my YouTube. You can see it on your YouTube, Sierra?
Let's see. Yep,
Yeah,
you're
I just
straight.
got that notification.
I got the live. What the super chat is in effect. Super chat is in effect. Peoples.
Let's see.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Hit that right there.
Hey, see, are you starting from season 1 with Dark Side of the Ring, or you
Mm-hmm.
just watching this season?
I'm starting all the way from the beginning.
So I watched the first 2 seasons. I think I skipped like a couple episodes, but I watched every episode for this season because this is them coming back. This is like
Right.
they had a
Mm-hmm.
mid-season finale.
Right. Yeah, I think the last episode from this season was in June, give or take. I think that's at least that's what Hulu said. So
Yeah, it's something like that. I remember. Thing is, like, I also want to know when they filmed this because Jericho did the whole thing as the what's the word I'm looking for?
or like the
The
narrator.
narrator. Yeah, so they did this a little while ago. So
Okay, so I
Uh,
wasn't tripping because I'm like that voice sound familiar.
it was Chris Jericho. He signed up for the whole third season. He wasn't doing it before. I
let me
think
get
he did the Chris Benoit
let me get
episode.
these intros in real quick, Kenzo. All
All right,
right.
go ahead.
My man JJ here. KK. CL's here. Kenzo the Great's here. Everybody's here.
Yeah,
We'll have better ones for everybody later on. Right now it's me.
let's
You already
go.
know you already know my attitude is.
How did I get?
I'll be using those for my Call of Duties. We already know. But if y'all here, y'all already know what it is. If y'all here, y'all already know what it is. We're here for the dark side of the ring. We're gonna talk about that. We'll talk about other shit later. If you're new to the YouTube, you know what I'm saying, hit that super chat so we can answer your questions. We will try to get the other questions as well, but super chat will definitely get you answered. Subscribe us everywhere on CL's page, my page, Kenzo's page, JJ's page. We appreciate y'all. All the good ish. Let's go. So CL, take it away.
Whew. So this past Thursday's episode of Dark Side of the Ring was dark. And it got dark real quick. Of course, they covered the plane ride from hell, essentially. And it's one of those things where I keep seeing a lot of people like, why is everyone upset about it now? I think for what everyone is that everything that we have heard previously was rumored. We had no confirmation. It was all alleged kind of thing. And then hearing everyone's points of view that were actually there made it all real. Um, so we actually have a question already. And first question is, what are your thoughts on cancel culture going after Tommy Dreamer? Mm.
I'll let y'all go first and
I
I'll
was
go.
okay. I go ahead at it. I got a whole thing of views on cancel culture. That could be a whole video by itself. I was arguing with it about it the other day with Mike and Juan. Thing about it is, right? Everyone's shocked about Tommy Dreamer because he was just so adamant about. I've never seen Ric Flair do because again, this is something you see with people are friends of certain people. This happens all the time. It's like, oh, I've never seen this type of behavior. He might play a little joke, but it's not. The thing is, that's one of the things about the episode is again we've all heard rumors. From what I remember of hearing about this, because remember this happened in 2002. This is nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
So we've heard little rumblings for years. What I always remember hearing is Ric Flair always opened his robe. It is a thing he did. He did okay, but they always said with the boys. That was very something that was always attached to it. It was okay, because I played football. You see some shit in the locker room, just dudes being stupid. But ain't nobody else in there. It's just the dudes and everyone who in there. They can leave whenever the fuck they want. It's not 30,000 feet in the air. Number one, and it ain't putting. It's not grabbing nobody and all this other. So I think Tommy Jr.'s nonchalance was like he didn't acknowledge it at all. Like JR said, he's not sure what happened. No one reported to him at the time until after they dealt with it after. And Rick obviously didn't face no consequences because he's fucking Ric Flair. But Tommy's he was completely saying basically Rick did nothing wrong. Rick does all the time. It's gonna be Rick. Fuck it. That's what Tommy said.
Yeah.
That was basically it. So
Yeah.
that's what the big problem is. So that's why, because you notice a very distinct lack of people directly coming for Ric Flair. First person, possibly because everyone knows at some point in time he started living this character. That's why the man been married how many times, all that stuff. Like everyone knows, it's like, so it's like, oh, Ric Flair did this. Okay, we're not surprised. So like same thing when the story came out, not story, but when they were doing the storyline with Lacey Evans. Reports are Ric Flair didn't want to do it, but it was such a Ric Flair thing. People like it had to be Ric Flair's fucking idea, like because he started being the character. For Tommy Dreamer, this is not what we know Tommy Dreamer as. So it's like he's supposed to be a locker room leader, all this other stuff, and for him to be just like, nah, whatever, fuck it, it's Ric Flair. He would never do that. That's what the problem was.
Now,
oh my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
JJ, what are your thoughts?
I think my thing about cancel culture is I think at times it is extreme, but at times it is just. I mean, there are people do wrong shit that they should be, challenged for. And obviously Tommy Dreamer's not gonna go, face anything legal, face anything, like financial in that sense. But with cancel culture, like endorsements, stuff like that, things that could affect them will affect them. And sometimes it's the only way to get justice on people who have done wrong. I mean, come on. Like, when I heard it, I couldn't believe I heard it. There was no way. Like, he started off, like, that clip you sent me, because I hadn't seen the episode. Not until you sent me that clip. You sent me that clip, and it started off like, all right, Tommy Dreamer said, talking about Ric Flair swinging his shit around. All right, that, again, like Kenny said, that's locker room shit. That's, someone just doing something, whatever. And then last 30 seconds of the video talking about grabbing that woman, I'm like, God damn, like this went from like, all right, like, kind of funny to, nah, this isn't cool at all.
Well,
yeah.
And Dreamer not gonna face anything unless cancel culture come at him.
Impact already said, gotta let you go.
It was like, that's it, my guy. Get out of here.
Sia, what you think?
So I don't know how much or how involved you guys are with the WWE network. I know a while ago, probably like maybe a few years ago, there was an episode of Storytime.
Yes.
Right. Where they briefly talked about it and they made light of it.
It was a joke. It was a gigantic joke.
Right. And the way, if you listen to Rick tell the story, right? Which I actually played it earlier to make sure I wasn't tripping. Where Rick is just like, oh, well, they asked me to put on the robe. So I put on the robe and I was naked and they were all on me. And, she told me to sit down and to sit on her lap. And, we were going at it for 9 hours. So if you listen to how Rick explains it and he's all laughing about it, and there's other, WWE superstars at that time that were commenting on it, that's just Rick. And at some point, it seems like the only person at the time that held him accountable was JR, was Rob Van Dam. Those people really stuck out on that particular episode as the people that were just like, this shit's not right. And no one stopped him at that time except for Dustin, who had his own issues, it seems like.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah, we're Dustin.
Yeah, a lot of people at first were like, oh, everybody is great except for, or everyone was bad except for Dustin. And then I was like, did they watch the same episode? Because
I think with Dustin personally, it's a little different because he was being very. I wouldn't have wanted the attention. I'll say it like that. But the thing is, like, a lot of people like, he was hurting. Like he never got. Some people say he never got over the divorce, but I think at this point in time, a lot of time has passed now. But like, they were freshly divorced. They on the same plane. God knows why. And they fucking drank, as that episode made very clear.
3 carts.
A liquor cart on an airplane.
A full cart.
They drank 3 of them. So it's like, and he sat there, wouldn't let go of the PA and sang to
his heart out.
Like, if we talk about everything that happened on that plane, it's not the worst.
Right. He was far less on the totem pole of, I guess,
I'm sure
things that
that's
were
why
bad.
people forget about it either, though. So it's like, I know she's like, yeah, okay, I can't get out of here. Again, we on a plane. Like, you had a plane big, yeah. You're in the air. You ain't escaping this shit. Except Vince and his wife, who apparently didn't pay attention to a damn thing that happened on this flight, even though
That's what I didn't understand. It's like, how are you at the front and all this commotion is going on in the back, especially when Brock and Mr. Perfect were back there fighting. And it's just like, oh, we're just going to sit here and mind our business.
Yeah. What? Before we move on to the next ones, so what I think about Tommy was like something like JJ said when it first started, and I was watching the clip, I was like, whatever. You're like, okay, cool. I almost like ended it because I was like, this ain't anything anyway, and then I let it play out, and then I heard the Rick shit, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. What made it worse is in the end, obviously, when Tommy even goes further, he's like, well, if it was that serious to her, then she wouldn't have took the money. She would have actually took it further than what it did, which makes it worse.
Classic thing people say when like, oh, why didn't they like? People don't understand the point of view from a victim standpoint, like because they just think, oh, if it was me, I wouldn't have took the money, which probably isn't true. Number one,
yeah,
this thing with like,
but that's what made it worse for me with Tom because I was like, yeah, bro, you really aren't here right now. So that was that, and then like I sent you guys in the group chat, it made more sense now when Batista came on the reunion and he was like, keep it in your pants.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right.
Oh, because it was an inside thing that they had that we all laughed because it's Ric Flair, Batista, blah blah blah. But now there's more clarity to it, so now it makes more sense. But
as a person who come from them type of locker rooms, there's always people who do certain shit and everyone finds it funny. And then there's that one person that don't find it funny. When you're the person who don't find it funny, people make you feel to be like, hey, what's wrong with you? Then you think about it, no, y'all just all stupid. Like so people not down for some shit, let it be. Like, understand.
Guarantee you we're going to get a series called Surviving Ric Flair. Guarantee you before the end of 2022 there will be a Surviving Ric Flair and all his ex-wives are going to come forward, all the women that he's ever slept with potentially or did something with are going to come forward, and we are going to hear all about it. Just alone with the fact that RVD, he was very honest. That's why people didn't hate him, because he said this is what happened. Unfortunately, this was the reality at that time. It felt normal, but it wasn't right. Just like they used to drug women. What?
And each other all the time.
And each other.
They literally said, don't leave your drink open. Do y'all know what is? Because I work in medicine. You use that for anxiety, and you use it if you can't sleep. It's for insomniacs and anxiety. You don't mix that shit with alcohol. It's already a tranquilizer by itself. Mm-hmm. Putting that shit with alcohol, you could end up like they said, like seeing someone frothing at the mouth. Some of them found funny. Like, what? Are you crazy? Like,
that's why Scott Hall, he was like, I'm pretty sure someone H-bombed me on the plane, and which makes sense because he was, from everyone's story, it seemed like he was asleep majority of the entire situation.
When previously asked about it, he had nothing to say. He's like, I don't remember it at all.
Right. So he's like, listen, I'm not denying that I possibly could have ripped her shirt and pulled her clothes. I just don't remember anything that happened. And I mean, it makes sense because he had to get carried off the plane.
And to everybody else, they thought it was him being him because he was already going through that shit at the time. But he's saying he was trying to be better. Somebody probably H-bombed him because all these guys are dicks, because that's how they treat each other. So, and we won't know, because I'm pretty sure if you go around, who was H-bombing people? No one admitted to being the person to do it, even though we have this plane of all these people on there. So we don't know. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, Michael Hayes could have done it to himself and to fall asleep and get his ponytail cut off, and he was pissed. But that doesn't mean he wasn't the one H-bombing people. That could have been anybody. Like,
right.
That's not.
I'm pretty sure we'll get to this topic on another day. But just a really quick thing. Just think about what the wrestlers now say. Like, the locker room is so different now. Like, back then, it seems like it was so toxic.
Yeah.
And now they're just all getting along, pushing each other, playing video games, like just kikiing with each other. Like, if I was a wrestler, although I love, from what I know, I love the wrestlers back then, but I would rather be in this locker room. I don't want to worry about my fucking hair getting cut off or being H-bombed or shit like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I actually saw someone say on Twitter, there was like, if this was the locker room that Undertaker was so proudly defending, I would rather be.
I have something for that. So the way you escape these things in the locker room is you in the clique, You're in Bone Street Crew because the Undertaker didn't get down like that. So that it was him. It was him. Who else was in there? I think Rikishi was in there. It was a couple of them who was in Bone Street Crew who was basically making sure the clique didn't go too wild. Which, as you know, Nash is part of the clique. But then you got in the clique, you got people like Triple H who don't drink. He was their designated driver all the time. So he was also making sure. Okay, y'all boys get wild, but don't get too wild. Obviously, caveat, what do they decide is too wild is also going to be a problem. But we can say the locker room has improved. They make fun of people like the New Day for playing video games in the locker room instead of drinking beers because they still do make fun of people for that. That is still a thing from certain people. Like Mox, after every match, he has damn near a bottle of whiskey and a smoke. But again, that's not problematic by itself. But then at the same time, it's like speaking out happened 2 years ago. Like, was it 2 years ago? Beginning of the pandemic. So we could say it's better, but it ain't that much better because we still got this type of shit going on. Like, we could say something is improved, but they ain't holistic.
So let's get a hot take now. Well, let's see how do it. Knowing what we know just from this episode, do we cancel Rick?
Yes.
So personally, I think he more than likely should have been canceled just off of the strength. But I think if it's not going to happen this episode, right? Next week's episode, I don't know if anybody saw what next week's episode is going to be or the clip for that one. Because now he's going to have, the LGBTQ community coming after him for next week's episode. So obviously at this point, it seems inevitable for him. I have seen that he started to lose endorsements. And I guess the only person in this situation, I'm not even worried about Rick at the same time. He's old as shit. I'm worried about Charlotte. The backlash that it might take on her. And also we have to see, okay, what is AEW going to do? Because if they were lining up to have Rick as Andrade's manager, how are they going to work this? It's too sticky right now. They may not want that type of negative attention on them. Sure, they want attention, but I don't think they're going to go that route.
I don't think Tony does that.
Yeah, I don't think right now that's going to be the wave. I think we're going to see maybe Chavo coming back to be Andrade's manager or some shit. Because
one thing on that, but is he canceled for you?
Oh yeah, Rick's done.
Kenzo?
Bye, Rick.
All right, here's my thing. I have a very nuanced take on cancel culture. Again, not gonna get completely into it. But here's my thing. I'm always for counsel more than cancel. The thing about it is Ric Flair is an old ass man. He's been doing this apparently for years, and no one gives a shit. So it's like, I mean, would it really be canceling and not bringing him in? I mean, because Ric Flair should have retired He has retired several times. Like, again, take him off a couple commercials, okay, whatever. Take him out the public light, but like Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. People knew certain things about him, and even to this day, it's like, okay, he's dead now. Don't besmirch his name. Like, this man is not. You don't just become a good person because you die. Like, that's not how that works. So the thing is, like, Ric Flair's old. He's not going to learn. I'm sure he's not in the same physical capabilities to have done something like this again. But keep him out of spaces where we have to see him all the time. That's how I feel. Like, I'm not saying cancel him. Take him off the network and all this other stuff. Never see Ric Flair again. I'm saying, like, we don't need him on AEW after that.
Right.
I think I need a little more for Ric Flair. I mean, it's not about the made man shit because I don't give a shit as Ric Flair. Like, he isn't my GOAT like most people is, so it's not anything like that.
Not that old.
But if it's like one incident, which I doubt it is, but if it's one incident, it's like Kenzo said, like, people do stupid ass shit. So maybe it's just something stupid he did, and then that was the last of it. But obviously, if there's more shit that comes out like this, way more than that, then yeah, he's canceled. Like I said, he's not my GOAT, so to me, it isn't a big thing. Like, oh yeah, well, let me save him. He's a made man. Like, I don't give a shit. If you do wrong, you should be out the door. Period.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. Do you think from the way that RVD and Tommy Dreamer and their opinions, did it sound like it was just that one incident? Because it didn't come off to me like it was just the one incident.
Look what Dreamer said, though.
The way they made it seem to me, I might have to go watch it again. Made it seem like he was just like what Kenzo said before, like he would just literally always be around the boys flashing his dick. That's how I took it. Like, it was Rick. Like, Rick was always naked, period.
I will say the way Tommy said it, it's like, and I've heard this because again, I'm a man who played sports all my life. I've heard some of this shit from shitty people all the time. The way he basically said, Ric Flair get bitches all the time. Why would he have to force himself on anyone? That's basically what he was saying. He didn't say it, but that's what he meant. He's like, you're Ric Flair. You don't gotta force himself. You're Ric Flair. But again, when you're not the person, because when you're not the victim, when you're not the friend of the victim, you're not looking at it from that view. A lot of times it's easy to say, oh, Ric Flair was being charming and she fell for his charm. No, that's not what happened.
So from that perspective, like I said, like I just took it as he was always naked. He was just always like doing dumb shit. To me, that's whatever. But if they would have came out and said, oh, he was always running up on women, doing shit like that, then that's a whole different thing. It's like, oh no, you got to go, bro. But I didn't gather that. But I could be wrong.
I'm leaning more towards the fact that he always did it around women, and there was just the women that were okay with it because it was, oh my god, it's Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's
so they accepted it.
Like, tell me you went as far to say how big his dick was. Like we didn't.
Right.
No, he got a hammer. Why not show you dick? I don't know about most people, but the people not showing their dick they're not showing it because their dicks is little. That's not why we all wear pants. That's not how that works. Like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? That's how I'm like,
yeah.
The crazy thing to me is that Tommy Dreamer has two daughters, twins. They're twins and they're teens. So it's like, if your daughters came home and they said that this had happened to them, would you have the same energy? And if you do, like, are you going to blame your daughters? Like, oh, well, what did you do to make him do that?
I hate that.
That's what I said in the group chat. I said, what would Tommy have done if they did that to his daughters? Because I have two girls, and that shit ain't flying with me.
You're right.
All right, to get back to what you said real quick before we go, if y'all watching, it's a giveaway. If we get about 500 likes on this video, I'm saying, y'all comment. I'll find one of y'all, and I'll send it out. Y'all already know what it is.
Can I enter that or what?
Yeah, after we get 500 comments, 500 likes and comments, we'll do it.
I'm in there.
That's brush off ring rants. He said that busted open radio also cut Tommy. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was interesting. But I don't want you to think that we brushed over the comment. So about the AEW thing with Chavo, they said that Chavo was working on Young Rock too. That's why he chose to get written off.
Oh, that shit about to get taken off of Hulu. I gotta watch that for a season. I think they take it off on Monday. I want to see if it's. Let's see if it's. I'm watching the first episode. If it's good, let's see what the fuck going on.
It was decent. I feel like this is a whole other thing. Okay, so I have a friend because whoever don't know whatever. I used to work in TV and film, so I have a friend that he does hair and makeup, whatever. So we always have this thing because with Rock and Batista, whatever. So I was like, man, you really go hard for Batista, and he was just like, I just feel like Batista's always genuine. So I was trying to put it together. I was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, Rock just seems like he's just always in character. Like he's just always trying to sell something, and you never really get Dwayne. You always get The Rock. And ever since then, I've been watching, and I do love The Rock, obviously, but I do feel like every time you see The Rock, he's selling something. Obviously, he does have his genuine moments because he does give back, he does do all that, so no shade. But every time I do go on Instagram, I do feel like what I'm about to buy right now.
Selling that tequila.
Yeah, and with Dave,
right.
and with Dave, when you watch Dave, you actually get his thoughts. You actually get how he feels. He actually goes against people when they say shit he don't like. So, I get it. But
I do think The Rock is one of those people, like Ric Flair, like Undertaker was for a while. They just always in character. Undertaker did it for kayfabe reasons, but The Rock and Ric Flair became The Rock and Ric Flair. That nigga not Richard Flair no more. That's Ric Flair. That's just who he is all the time. He just
If you do watch Young Rock, I think it's a separate episode. He says that his dad always told him stay in character, like be the character.
Yeah, but that's when kayfabe was alive and well. He was an adult in the late 90s. You can let shit go.
But like I said, I'm a Rock fan, so The Rock can't do any wrong. He seems to make everything work. So, like y'all like Fast and Furious, but I only liked it more when The Rock came on. I thought he made it more exciting.
Fast and Furious never not hit. All right.
That's not. I got a Miami bias thing. So once Too Fast, Too Furious came, I'm like, hey, keep an eye on this and never look back.
Let's not stand here. It ain't never not hit. All right.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. All right, go ahead, CL. Let's keep it going with the episode. What else did you get from it?
All right. So, also in the episode, we have the incident, which I guess also was minor in the grand scheme of things, with Michael Hayes getting his ponytail cut off. by X-Pac. Like, first of all, I didn't even know X-Pac was even on this flight.
Me neither.
I had to watch it, like I had to rewind it because I was like, who did they say? And I'm like,
his voice just came off card, like he said his piece for like 2 days. He didn't come on screen.
And that was it.
It was brief. He said his piece and he was out. Like, yeah, I did it. Fuck it.
I'm not about to touch this. He was like, nah, like I'm gonna tell you what I did on the plane, and that's it.
Which is also interesting, like again, because they got a whole ass plane. There was not only 10 people on this plane. Why are we only talking about 10 people? What was the rest of these people doing? We need some more. I'm not gonna lie. Because again, every time you hear about this story, we heard about Brock and Mr. Perfect. We hear that all the time. Because giant motherfuckers wrestling on a plane is a story. We've always heard that. Okay, that is what it is. We've heard about Ric Flair getting naked. We've heard a little bit more now. I think I heard the Michael Hayes thing. I just didn't care. But I don't remember them saying it was X-Pac before. So okay, that. So we're down to what? That's what 4, 5 people that we got. Ralph Van Dam says on play. That's 6. Justin, Terry Rono. That's only 8 people. They got a whole plane for 8 people plus Vince. And no way. No fuck. Especially since 4 of those people were in the front. Vince, Linda, Jim, and Terry was up there. So where's this is a big ass plane. This usually would sit a lot more. They just put only first class seats in there.
Right.
What was everyone else doing? Was everyone else back? I mean, again, they finished 3 liquor carts. There's got to be at least like 25 wrestlers. Like they all pretty big, but X-Pac ain't. Like everyone wasn't. Like I know this is Vince Land of the Giants, but everyone wasn't Brock Lesnar and Mr. Perfect. So
right.
What's going
so
on?
where was everyone else? What were they doing?
Interesting.
Yeah, the Michael Hayes thing is like whatever. I mean, I would have been pissed having hair.
I know you would have been pissed. I'm already
pissed when I cut my shit. Like it would have been a problem, especially if it was X-Pac. It would have been a problem, but it wasn't that big. The big thing to me was Brock and Kurt fighting. That was a big thing for me because because obviously that's crazy as fuck. You got 2 big ass 6'4" dudes on a plane in the air,
actual wrestling, both of them,
fucking wrestling, breaking shit while I'm in the fucking air for like 14 hours, like with my life on the line over the Atlantic. That's crazy as shit. Mind you, what is everyone doing? Are you guys passed out? Are you getting fucked up? Are you egging it on? Like, what is happening?
They was watching.
They definitely started out egging it on, then realized when they hit that emergency door, because everyone doesn't know that door can't open because of pressure, but it can like be slightly ajar and then you're fucked anyway. But everyone's like, oh shit, they hit the emergency door. Okay, we gotta stop fucking around now.
Yeah, but then you know that Mr. Perfect used it as a promo on WCW.
Yeah.
He said he was the one that fucked Brock up in the air.
Yep.
Yep. So.
Now, the fucked up thing about this whole situation is this ended with him getting released. Like, let's look at the wrestlers that were on this flight that got released versus the ones that didn't. So, obviously, Mr. Perfect got released for his antics on the plane.
Well, okay. Like this was like the last straw because everyone's like, oh, Mr. Perfect. Because who was it? Mike Chioda. He's like, oh, he's the best ribber. He was always like he made it seem like everyone thought he was funny. But I'm guessing if you like Kurt Hennig or if you whoever else is on the end of these jokes, it wasn't funny because I'm pretty sure JR said specifically that Vince said that he got to go. So I'm guessing Vince was tired of his. This was like the last straw, basically.
Right. So he ends up getting released. Of course, Scott Hall ends up getting released, and I was like, "Damn, he was sleeping though." But he just assumed that he was sleeping so much because he took all the drugs, and that this just wasn't the environment for his sobriety, which, in hindsight, was probably for the better. So he got released. Then, of course, Dustin got fined. So that was interesting because he was put with the choice of either releasing him or just fining him. So it looked like essentially he got fined just for singing on a mic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, bitch, she was that crazy.
Got some strange shit in there. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I've heard some of the stories about these contracts, so it's like you go in there knowing. Again, that's why it's a big. We get into that Andrew Yang thing, but
all right, so let me ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have Scott Hall on the plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Ric Flair on the plane. We have X-Pac on the plane. Where was Kevin Nash, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels?
Oh, ain't no way Diesel was not on this plane. Ain't no fucking way.
Assuming they were on the plane.
Ain't no way Diesel was not on this plane. Ain't no way.
Right.
Which is what I'm saying. So why didn't we hear nothing about them? Because you know,
That's what I'm saying. There's some stories missing here for sure.
which is like what I said. Like it's scary because obviously everyone knows HBK is my goat. But it's like, what are we missing? What are we missing?
That episode comes out, Chance, man. It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna
Can
be
you
so rough.
imagine it's going to be a part 2?
It's gonna be so rough for me.
Yeah,
Because you know Sean had that incident when he got beat up by the Marines.
Yeah.
Because suppose there was something with the chick. Like, did he violate her and they whipped his ass, or was it just Shawn Michaels was a handsome dude at the time and they were just jealous of him? Like, what's the real story?
Yo, remember Insurrection 2003? The headliner was Triple H with Ric Flair versus Kevin Nash with Shawn Michaels. They're on this damn plane. This shit is because remember to this, and I think this incident actually had other effects because we talk about when I'm watching all this stuff, you know, behind kayfabe. You know, as a wrestler, you can charge your own travel. Partially, probably because of shit like this. Because to get a bunch of you motherfuckers together, you're gonna do this.
Right.
So there's if you're telling me Ric Flair's on this plane and Kevin Nash is on the plane, so gotta be Diesel there, gotta be Shawn Michaels there, gotta be Triple H there. They're best friends, they go everywhere together, and this is the time they're not in charge of their own travel. They got a whole ass plane. They on this plane. Because
what got me was Scott Hall don't go by himself.
No.
Or at least without he doesn't go without Kevin Nash. And then if X-Pac is there, no shade, but X-Pac is like low totem pole. So if you have Ric Flair and you have Scott Hall there and X-Pac is there, those other three gotta be there.
I'm telling you.
Watch, we're gonna get an episode. It's gonna be Dark Side of the Ring, Other Side of the Plane. We're gonna get a whole lot of other stuff coming out.
He said other side of the plane. I hate you.
I mean, the plane had to be huge. Like, if Vince didn't see something supposedly or hear something, then he had to be way on the other side of the plane.
Well, I'm pretty sure Brock doesn't fit in a regular plane, so
and it was
Ain't no way Brock knees gonna be touching the seat in front of him. That plane had to be big.
Yeah, I can't cancel Sean. I can't.
He going through it without the episode even coming out.
I can't cancel the Heartbreak Kid. That's like
I just pulled up all the matches.
Yeah, I looked up the card. Yeah. They had to be there. I'm trying to look up when did Shawn Michaels become a born again Christian. That might have double saved his ass in this case. That's what I'm looking for. Around what time was that? Because then they'll be playing. Because remember, he stopped drinking at this time, all the other stuff. So oh, yep, he was a born again Christian April 24, 2002. So he might have actually not been on this. He's on the plane with Triple H.
Okay. Because if he ain't on the plane, Triple H is with him.
Most likely, yeah.
And maybe Kevin Nash is with Triple H.
But I don't know.
I don't think that this story is over with.
They left Scott Hall by himself. That's kind of man's still recovering.
Because Scott was cool with Kurt and Scott was cool with Pac and obviously Flair. So I'm pretty sure he was all right. And if he was just passed out anyway,
I'm just saying. But think about it. Triple H at this time isn't drinking, and this is when trying to give up drinking. Your friend's trying to clean himself up. Shouldn't he be with y'all instead of Ric Flair? Just a thought that came to my mind.
The cocaine cowboy.
Well, that's more on Scott Hall than them. I mean,
yeah.
Addicts can't do it alone. That's the known thing.
Well, I mean Scott going on the plane, not doing what he did on the plane.
So Dark Side. I need part 2 Dark Side. I need to know where Sean was. No, I don't want to, but I need to know where Sean was.
Yeah, you better than most. Most people be like, "Oh, I don't want to know that way. I don't have to cancel him." At least you being real with yourself. You're like, I gotta know from my own conscience. So,
because I love Sean B. I love him. Like, I gotta know who am I loving.
Keep that energy.
I seen this quote.
Trust me, that energy is kept because anyone know me growing up knows that I was a huge R. Kelly fan.
So that's one thing. So one of the things I've seen this before, but it's coming up now because of this coming up. It's like people are, don't meet your heroes. It's not don't meet your heroes. It's have better heroes. And the thing with wrestling is a little different because these people are literally all at least 2 people. So They could be your favorite person on TV, and then
because saying that, I know y'all probably caught it. Was it an episode? No, I was watching the behind the scenes one of Dark Side that's coming out. I forgot what the dude's name was, so I mean, it doesn't really matter anyway. But they said that he was an amazing wrestler. Everyone loved him, but behind the scenes, he was like the leader of a biker club and like out there killing people, and no one knew it. That shit was wild. But it's gonna come out on Dark Side. It's like on this season.
Shit.
So that would be.
I'm telling you, that first half.
Is his homeboy in jail or what? Because I don't think there's a statute of limitations on murder.
There is no statute of limitations on murder, especially when you cross some state lines. So we're gonna need some.
Well, this is about to get. Look, I feel like Vince is gonna find some type of way to get this show stopped because it is starting to have a ripple effect. It is now having people look at Vince in a whole different light. And I mean, we already looked at Vince kind of funny for certain things and situations that did occur. But I think now even more so with other wrestlers, like, oh, well, yeah, Vince was just doing this. Or Vince, he excused Ric Flair because he was a made man. That type of mindset, that type of attitude. People now, like, if Vince didn't already have a target on his back, he got it now. Like,
I'm sorry. The man is racist enough to eat a burrito every day and not know what's called a burrito. He calls them steak wraps. This is not the type of guy who's gonna be like. Yeah, I'm so serious. Like this is when I found that story out. He literally didn't know what. Like someone's like, "Oh, do you want a burrito?" They're like, "What's?" He's like, "What's a burrito?" It's the thing he had been having for lunch every day for at least 5 years. At that point, he just called them steak wraps. He didn't know it was a burrito. That is the most like I heard a lot of Vince stories. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
I wish I was that wealthy. Like I feel like I wish I was that wealthy. Like, what is that?
Real quick, guys in the chat, make sure you hit the super chat. It makes us they give me like a little ring so we can see what your question is. But Sky's the limit 1994. Welcome. Never seen you before. Maybe you're with CL. Appreciate you for stopping by. Says, hey guys, I wanted to know what's your take on Terry mentioning how every time she experienced similar moments, she was told don't sell.
Yeah.
Think about it as the ex-wife of a wrestler, she had to say that. Think about someone who didn't have someone to protect them. Think about it. I'm sure it was a horrible place to be as being a woman in that locker room. I didn't need to be told that. I didn't need to be reminded that. I knew it based on what I know about wrestling, but this I know. If she personally had to be told don't sell all the time, like she gave 2 examples alone in this 40-minute episode, and again, she's partially protected being Terry Reynolds, kept the name for a while. Like, can you imagine someone who's just a female wrestler, someone they found on Diva Search, someone like before the Women's Revolution? Like, like look how China got treated.
True.
China got a whole thing. Like, y'all need to go check that out if y'all ain't seen it. That is insane. As soon as she didn't have Triple H to protect her no more, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
I mean, we know Terry was going through something because she was obviously part of the bra and panties matches.
Yeah. And it's really sad to see and hear that she was told don't sell it, to the point that was just her natural reaction. Like, for most women, if you're in a situation and something happens to you that is like putting you out of your element, you're going to react, and you're going to react in a way that you're going to be defensive. Some women, and the fact that it was just so second nature to her that she was just like, okay, I'm not going to sell it. Like, don't worry, I'll just brush it under the rug. And she even made the comment, like, if I had to go to court for every situation that occurred, she's like, I would be in and out of court for years. And it's troubling because it's like, well, damn, Terry, like, who else was coming after you? Like, who else was doing things to you? Yeah. And, there's going to be a point where there is going to be a dark side of the ring, divas of the WWE. Can you imagine
I don't even want to know
what would come from that?
There's a reason why, for the most part, for a long time, as soon as Vince was in control, basically, if there's cameras back there, they're WWE cameras. If it's not WWE produced, he kicked them. He kicked everybody. Like they used to have, like you have Dave Meltzer and stuff like now. Those people used to be closer. Those people used to be like not on the payroll, but allowed back there. Now You better be a WWE camp. You better be on WWE's payroll if you get in. Like that's why a lot of people don't trust Dave Meltzer and stuff like that because they know if stuff getting out, it's because Vince wanted to get out, or he don't mind. But then also remember, like the amount of people who know certain things happen on Raw and SmackDown, leaks happen because it's just that many people. Like that's what it really is. It's not like Dave Meltzer was actually on the payroll because they need to be on everyone's fucking payroll. It just doesn't make sense. So
I don't want to know what happened back then.
I mean, again, y'all not gonna judge me, but my girlfriend, she likes wrestling. So, thing about it is, she watched it. She didn't watch it like on TV, like religiously. Like it was like, oh, every week SmackDown, Raw, blah blah. She just watched it when she watched it. But thing is, she didn't really like was Total Divas and then Total Bellas. So I did come across myself watching them shits with her sometimes. And even with those, this is newer. The Divas would be like, nah, I can't be around him. But I could be like, oh, I forgot. I think they said Mick Foley. Yo, he's super safe. He's married. He's committed to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta say that about one dude. Mind you, Mick Foley not in the game anymore. Like,
yep.
Can you imagine about everybody else back there? I'm telling you, it's a grimy place to be a woman back there. And this is after the women's revolution. Can you imagine before?
Right. And it's just like, what would happen? It makes you wonder. And it really, you don't want to know, but you want to know.
That's why I'm strong. Like, when speaking out happened, I was like, yeah, I believe all this.
Well, that's where the big promo came in, the big promo bomb, when like The Rock and Cena were actually going at it and like they didn't like each other. And like Cena was hitting them with them shits. The Rock brought out Cena's business, like you were married, but weren't you fucking around in the back? Like that's where all that shit happened. And then they have the Kelly stories, how she was going around with different dudes. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would want to know those times back then.
I want to know. I want to know it all because I am a fan of the product.
I won't be able to watch WWE no more. Everybody be canceled.
I survived speaking out, so if I can survive that at this point, might as well give me all of that because that shit was disgusting. If you really stayed on Twitter and hit that hashtag, you seen some shit, boy. And obviously, there's gonna be some tag-alongs which you're gonna add shit just to add shit. They're not, it's not real. But enough of that shit was real for me to be like, yeah, I'd love to take a step back. I mean, I took a step back for a good month after that from wrestling for a little bit. For sure.
Mm-hmm. So we definitely missed a question. Jesus, I'm gonna assume. He asked, do you feel like Tommy Dreamer and Ric Flair deserve the heat that they are getting right now? Tommy Dreamer, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That was borderline creepy.
I'll say, oh, she took the money.
It makes you wonder, like, damn, well, Tommy, what the fuck was you doing? Because if you were just so okay with it and you're just like,
he was definitely one of the people who asked Rick to pull his dick out. He had to be. That Rick, do the thing.
Well, hear me out. It's not all right. So Rick did this, right? Years ago. And it's not that Tommy Dreamer was okay with it. The way he was talking sounded like he was still okay with it. Like that was just Ric Flair's style and profile. That is present tense feeling about how he feels about it.
Yeah.
That's not
right.
That's not I was a victim of the times and I thought it was, it seemed normal. It's still normal. It's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever
that's not progression. He's still in that mindset.
Whoever Tommy Dreamer's agent or manager is needs to be fired because I don't know what they were thinking when he answered.
I'm saying, see, that's another thing. Like, you know how comfortable being a certain way you got to be to know this is going on TV and still say this.
Like, exactly.
You completely believe these things.
He watched the clips back and he's like,
bro, yeah, they were in production. Right. He's like, I'm staying facts right there.
That's the one.
Yo,
what? Oh yeah, they're gonna love this. This is the one.
Right? This the one that's gonna kill him. Sir.
Wrap it up. We got it.
Oh, I wish I had a DJ Khaled one. Another one.
Mind you, all he did was make just JR and RVD look just like saints. And not that they were doing anything wrong, but like I said before, it's the way, and kind of like how you were saying, JJ, like it's the fact that this is what Tommy Dreamer still believes to this day, as opposed to RVD, where he's like, yeah, at the time that it was normal. Those were the times. It wasn't right. Looking back on it, he's like, it's not right, but that was the times. So seeing that, it was like, okay, that's why RVD was so safe in this situation. Had he had the same mindset as Tommy Dreamer, he'll be going too.
Way too smooth and calmly. Drugging local girls.
Yo,
my man said like it was the sky blue.
I got scared at first because I thought he said that he was part of the drugging girls. I was like, oh no, obviously not you too.
Yeah, I had to rewind that back because I was like,
Horrendous.
wait, before I assume what did you
And
say?
again, we can talk about progression all we want. When I was I'm 25 now, I was about 22. Went to a house party. It was promoters I knew because that's why I was promoting parties back then. But don't drink the punch. What? I'm like, don't warn me not to drink. I'm like, all right, everybody I came with, we fucking leaving. And I came with only girls. And then what are you doing? What are you taking the girls for? Like, you ain't drugging the people I brought. You fucking crazy. They're my fucking friends. Like, they came in my car, they leaving when I'm leaving. You gonna be like, don't drink the punch, there's something in it. Nah, fuck that. We getting out of here, all of us. I'm not, no, yeah, how you way with the girls? I'm not gonna drink the punch. I'm gonna vibe up, maybe. No, fuck that. We all leaving. Y'all sick.
Right.
Like, what the fuck wrong with y'all?
Right. And the fact that they were just like, oh yeah, no one was putting out, so they would just H-bomb the girls and
So
have their way.
So let me do another hot take. Real quick. Let's see if it makes it real. Knowing what we've known for Dark Side about how drugging people was a thing, you feel like Bill Cosby did that?
Well, I mean, I already believed it. I believed it from the beginning. So that man had a stronghold on the black community. If you wanted to get out, you had to go through Bill Cosby. He had a stranglehold. So he's like, well, you're not doing this shit. Like, again, because if you think about it, when Def Jam was coming out, a lot of people loved it. Black people loved Def Jam. It was going crazy. People could express themselves in New York. It was going, Bill Cosby, like, they out there saying the word nigga and they all cursing. And that's not the view that I created for black comics. Why are they doing this? Because he has that, like, he could present this whole nice and all this other stuff character, but he had that narcissist vibe to him too. It's like, I created the black comic community. Like, how y'all letting this slide after all I've done for us? So, yeah, I believe that for sure.
Cosby did it.
Yeah.
Cosby did it.
I mean, all
Plain and simple.
the stories seem like it led to it. So, all right, next question.
Cosby's a lot. That's a lot of lies to be telling. 55.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Next question. Should Brock Lesnar get punished for exposing himself? He was also the reason Mr. Perfect was fired. To this day, he was never told his side of the story, or if he saw more of what he did or saw that day.
So
Brock looked like he was just an idiot at that time because he was green. But like again, I don't know a lot of the stories and what else he did. But he would look like someone that just was naive at the time. But I don't know.
So this is actually not the first time that Terry has spoken out about this situation. If I remember correctly, she actually did come out last year on a show and exposed this situation between her and Brock and what he did. He wasn't really punished then. As far as for him to be punished now for exposing himself, I think the punishment should have happened then. Not,
Right.
Now, almost 20 years later, as far as him getting in any sort of punishment by the WWE. I think definitely if Vince wanted to punish him, he would have punished him. He didn't want to punish him.
He wasn't punishing. He was a star. He was the next
Right.
riser.
He didn't want to punish him. And as far as being the reason that Mr. Perfect was fired, that's a little 50-50.
Again,
Because Vince, definitely was already annoyed with the shits with Mr. Perfect because of the fact that Mike Chioda even said it, that ribs had stopped. And once Mr. Perfect came to the company, that's when ribs started up again. And everybody was doing ribs and stuff like that. So, I think Vince was just annoyed. And if say for instance, if that was Flair that was doing it, he'd have been fine. Vince would have been like, good shit, do it again. Like, that would have been it.
If a Brock didn't exist, because they didn't need Mr. Perfect, they had Brock.
Right.
I mean, he was perfectly fine with Mr. Perfect taking the bullet. Period.
Yep.
So here's my take on it. I'm looking at it because at the time, roughly, I don't know Brock's birthday, but he's about 26 at the time. I'm 25. I ain't going around just showing my dick to people. I'm obviously not crazy rich, but it's just not the thing I would do. Oh, hey, no.
No, I get that. I get that because you're of common sense. But
I was just saying, like,
But mind you,
give me kind of, you know, like me.
mind you, it was a different time back then, a different locker room.
Facts.
So how many dumbasses did you have back there saying, Brock, this is what you got to do? Because even like when HBK and Marty Jannetty came over, they said when they first came over, they got fired because they were telling them like they had to do drink or wild out or some shit like that, and then they got in trouble for it. But that was the boys telling them like, yo, you have to do this. And once they did it, they got in trouble because that wasn't, they weren't supposed to do that. So I could see people hyping Brock up like, yo, this is what we do. Rick goes around swinging his dick like this is the norm.
Yeah,
I can see that.
No, yeah, there's no point in punishing him now though.
And like I said, he's young. He was young, naive. Obviously, he got that check, so he was like, "Yo, I don't want to lose the check. What I gotta do? Oh, I'm flashing y'all dick. All right, cool. I'm just gonna flash my dick."
Cool, bam.
Well, my thing about it is, like, what's called. Sure, you could say that maybe it's a little too late to punish him, but it's not too late, to kind of make it right in a sense. Like like punishments come in different forms, right? Like for example, Brock. Brock is Brock. If for something like this, have that person publicly apologize for what he did to that person. Like give that person, the victim, some type of closure, because punishment's not always just for the for the person that did it.
Right.
It's also for the victim to get some form of closure, some form of sanity from it.
I don't see Brock doing that publicly. I can see it maybe.
And I don't see WWE handling that correctly because
I can see him do it behind the scenes, but not publicly.
Yeah, when the Velveteen Dream stuff came out, their punishment was to bury him on TV. The motherfucker's still on TV every week now. What type of punishment is this? If anything, he was on TV more now than he was before. How is this a punishment? And for Brock, it's the opposite. Brock don't want to be on TV. So I mean,
you said Velveteen Dream?
Yeah, they tried to. His punishment was burying him on TV. And then firing him. We don't have to talk about it.
You're not gonna like my take on that, so we're just gonna move forward.
Oh well, let's take it then, because I don't even know the whole story. All I know was bits and pieces. But on a side note, I thought he was gonna have an amazing character. Like I thought he was gonna be so dope. But like I said, I don't know what happened, so I guess you might as well give us your take because I don't know everything about it.
So that's my thing. I feel like there wasn't a full story. We just always heard bits and pieces, and because we always heard bits and pieces, and I don't like being this person, but because there was not enough credible evidence,
I'll get that.
It sounded like it was all speculation. And if I don't believe Velveteen Dream did anything wrong because we don't have any proof, let's hold him accountable with proof. We don't have any proof. Now, of course, people could say, oh, well, there were screenshots of we know we're in a technology age where screenshots can be created and manipulated in Photoshop. So we know that we're well aware of that. That's why I'm like, So I feel as though he was wrongfully fired. Not even just wrongfully fired, but I feel like he was wrongfully treated the way that he was because it was alleged and then people just ran with it. Just like same thing that happened with Enzo. Enzo had an allegation against him, and it was quickly found out that he didn't do it. Nothing happened. And
Enzo was let go because they were sick of us.
Huh?
Enzo was let go because they were sick of us. They couldn't stand his personality.
Right. He was their version of Mr. Perfect. So basically, yes, of course they used that situation as a scapegoat. As soon as it came out, they were like, "Oh, you're gone," and that was that. So I'd rather have more critical, solid proof that something might have actually happened, in the court of law before just assuming that this happened because this person said it. Unfortunately, people lie for attention, and I don't want to be that person. But
I'm big on supporting victims, but at the same time, stuff like John Oakman happens, where his whole life is open now because he's accused of rape. Now you got get back. So
what I be doing with that? Yeah, because I know what I heard from the Velveteen situation. Sounds like the same shit I heard from the Matt Riddle situation.
That was another one. Yeah.
Like they both had something, but it wasn't like enough. And now Matt's a two-time champ as far as tag team and US, and both teams going. His dream gone. His dream gone because he's black and gay, or is that nothing?
Right.
And I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we have feedback going on.
Yeah, I'm getting that too.
Ken's like he about to drop a beat.
Boy, I wish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the story. If it's not true, it's sad because Dream could work, and I love this character. I love
so
what he was
good.
doing.
Such an amazing wrestler, and now he's basically like blackballed, from wrestling because no matter where he was to go, the crowd is going to be like, "You did it."
He had heat, like nuclear. Like that shit was crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, like he would come.
I think because it was like kids and shit. I think that's that. I mean, also he's black and also playing a bisexual character.
Take you back to the show.
So I think all those things mixed together was a bad mix for him. With the Matt Riddle stuff, he came out. He stood in front of. I mean, WWE said they were investigating. I don't believe them. Their system is probably worse than the United States justice system, which I also don't trust. So that goes by itself. But Matt stood on. He's like, I did this, but I didn't do this. Which I mean, that doesn't make it 100%. Oh, he didn't do it, but it's a lot better than anything we got out of all the speaking out. It's probably the best because Justin Roberts said nothing. Darby Allin said nothing. Matt Riddle came out and said, we did this, but it was this. Yeah, we did this, but I didn't put myself on her. I cheated on my wife, and my wife at home, she know that. That's what happened. But I mean, that makes you shitty at some point, but it's not. You're not a rapist. So
right. Yeah, that was a. Jesus said, "Remember when Vince said the N word on live TV? How was
I will say this
about that back in his day?"
I will say something about that again.
I never seen that. Did he really?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
I
will send you a link when I can find it. He said it to John Cena, and Booker T and Charmel were like 2 feet away out of screenshot, and then they went there, and then Booker T goes, "Did he just?" And then he storms off. Charmel just standing there looking like, "What the fuck?" So first of all, this got to be completely unscripted. It got to be because Booker T is not prepared. Charmel is not prepared. John Cena is like, "What the fuck?" Number 2, Vince said this word. It sounded like he had never said it ever in his life. I have never seen this cadence in the word nigga in my life.
He was practicing in the mirror before
the N,
coming out.
N was hard that you barely heard the I, then you just heard the G. It was completely strange. It was like that's why you almost like, did he actually, is that what he said? I don't know what that was. Was that English? Like it was so weird. But he got away with it because it was back then, and everyone already knows all the.
So he did it for TV.
It was on TV. Yeah, it was on TV.
No, but I mean, like he did it for like a script type work, or he really meant.
He literally went up to Cena and was like, "That's what's up, my nigga." That's basically what he said. It was not necessary. It was not.
Yeah.
It was. There was no way. Like it wasn't. He just said it, and I was like, I'm tripping because I didn't watch that. That's something that I went back and saw after. That was not something like I wasn't like sitting at home as a kid. And if I was, I definitely would have thought I know it because I was a kid. So.
No, I never seen that. I like the Booker T one when he was talking to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
I mean, but this is the same company that had Triple H go over on Booker T when clearly the winner of the racist feud should be the black guy.
Fuck.
Yeah, we know that was racist because he said. Didn't he say something in the promo like
people like you don't deserve. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was
That was spicy.
I mean, you got people back there. Like they talk about that with like NXT, like a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of people running back there. I think Michael Hayes is one of them. Is like they're part of like QAnon and stuff. Like they that's how they still think like some of these things. Like this stuff ain't gone. It's better, not gone.
Right. And I think that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing kind of unfold on these, things that we see, like the dark side of the ring, where it's still happening, but it's just maybe it's not as bad as it used to be. Right. And that's just, it sucks.
I mean,
like,
have you seen Jake Roberts' dad episode? When y'all watch that and y'all text me. I'm not gonna say no other words. Watch that shit, the whole thing, then text me. That might be the most insane episode, and they have a fucking Chris Benoit episode. So that's like
Yes,
So
I'm.
when y'all see the one about Grizzly Smith, that's Jake Roberts' dad. When y'all see that shit, let me know. It's fucking insane. The whole thing's insane, and no one better than Eyelash. But I will say about the black people in Judge, you about to head out, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, you look like you about to head out. I can tell.
About that time, y'all boys.
We're right now.
So y'all see what? All right, Jay. See,
Yo.
y'all seen what Big E said? Because I think a lot of people taking it out of context.
What did he say?
He said he sees a lot of people on a lot of black wrestlers on the roster, and they're not just on the roster to fill spaces. They're not there to fill a quota. They're there because basically he didn't say this exact word, but he said because they're the best. Basically, he said because they're doing their thing, which again I think is really good. But I think some people took it as like they're. I don't know if they were trying to say that he was saying before him the black wrestlers who were there were only there to fill a quota. They weren't actually good. I don't know which way. Like, but people taking it so many different ways.
This is how I took it, because once he won, we all said the same thing. Oh, he only won because of what AEW is doing. So I think he's.
So
I think he's doing it. I think he's setting to be the company man. Like, nah, it's real over here. Like, that's not why I won. Like, I really won because of this. Like, granted, are all of them amazing? Yes, but we already know what it is. We know why Kofi won. We know why Big E won.
Okay, we definitely know why Kofi won. But the thing is, Big E won not for the same reason that Kofi won. Big E won. It was to grab away from AEW, but it's because Big E is popular, not because he's black. That's the difference.
So
That's why I think it's different. Huh?
So
Big E
you
was
admit that Kofi shouldn't have won.
No, I definitely think Kofi should have won because I think here's the thing. Randy Orton has how many world titles? You don't need to be the best to get one title. That's the thing. I'm not saying Kofi should be a main eventer. I say he should have got a belt, one run with the belt, which he did, and then they squashed him anyway. I'm not. I was never saying Kofi was the best. That's not what my take was. I was just saying a run with the belt is. I mean, again, we got people who are 2-time belt holders, and you look at them like David Arquette has 3 world championships. Like, let's come on now, 3-time David Arquette, not a wrestler. So
I think the Big E was a quota thing. Like, he was gonna win eventually. Like, we already know that because he is over, and we've all been waiting for him to win. So I know he was gonna win eventually. So not a quarter for that. But I think it was definitely a quarter. Like, what are we gonna do for ratings? Because as you can see, all right. So this is switch from Dark Side to some SmackDown shit. But as you can see, he won it. Then he appeared on SmackDown. Now we're getting Roman on Raw. There's a reason why.
okay,
It's not because
again, that's all true, but that's not the same thing as a quarter. Because they did the same thing with Sasha and Bailey. They had them going across all 3 shows because they were over. They are trying to grab attention. They are trying to do it. But I'm saying that's not about being black. He is black, but he's all. The thing is, he's popular. He's trying to say we on top because we doing the damn thing, and he's including Roman in that. That's the thing. Like people are like.
He does do quotas because they hired Ray back because of that. They hired Cain Velasquez, whatever, because of that. Because it was even said they brought him in to bring some of the Mexican fans over.
No, that's definitely true.
Look
Especially USC.
at Jinder Mahal.
I'm about to say
Jinder Mahal, 100%.
Ginger and all them, like not all of them like that, but I don't know their names. But Ginger and them,
Shaky
they're brought. Yeah, there you go. They're brought there so that they can bring the Indian audience in. So they do things for quota.
No, they definitely do. But I'm saying Roman and Biggie deserve their spot. That's what I'm saying. You could like see CL argue with me about Kofi because you can argue that because first of all we do know that's why he got a spot, but because you could be like, did he earn it? But Biggie, this is long. Like Biggie hasn't had a big title since NXT.
Right.
Roman, they've been doing him wrong this whole time because they weren't listening partially to him because he said turn me. Like even Cena is now saying, hey, if I come back, you think you could turn me? Like. These people are getting spots because they deserve it, not because
we know Big E deserves it. But the quota I'm saying is I'm not saying quota as far as nationality or ethnic. And I don't even know the word, so I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not saying because I'm saying quota because they're trying to get ratings.
Yeah, this definitely. I would definitely say it's a ratings grab.
What's going to get the ratings? What's going to get the ratings is giving Big E the title now, putting him on SmackDown, having Roman come over to Raw. Now we'll be wanting for Survivor Series. Supposedly WWE already tweeted it, that we're getting the New Day versus the Bloodline on Raw. We didn't want that. We wanted the Survivor Series, but now we're getting it for Raw. Why? Because they're trying to because
they can't do things in order, and they already had the Street Profits almost beat the Usos, and then they realized, wait, how are you gonna get a Survivor Series like this? They didn't think about that.
You know why WWE is stupid? This is why they're dumb. Because when I watched SmackDown, I was excited because obviously it's Friday Night Roman, so I was excited. Then I saw Big E come, got even more excited. Then I saw the Usos fuck up Big E in the back, talking shit, talking about this ain't your show, go back where you belong. I was more excited. So then I said, all right, cool. So we're actually building a feud for Survivor Series. So then we might.
Building?
That's what I thought. Dumb me. So I thought that's what we were doing. So I said, okay, so Raw, maybe we get Roman, maybe we get the Usos pop up, talk shit, jump somebody. Cool. So we're gonna have some good storylines going. It went straight into Bloodline versus New Day, and I was like, come on.
You know why?
Bro.
Because they don't care about rematches. So they could build story in like this shit is the most asinine shit ever. Like I hate them. So think about it, right? The reason why what you're saying makes sense. What you're saying is what they should have done. But the thing is, they don't know how to keep someone on screen without putting them in the ring. Even though they do it with Roman, like the motherfucker is on this TV show with him. You just do this again, one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand. Like it's like the thing is, but those are Roman's ideas. Those are Paul's ideas. Those they get to the writer's room, they get to Vince, and they stay the same. They don't get changed. Anything that comes out of a writer's mouth, anything, they write it down. We're gonna do this. And Vince is like, nah. Especially
this goes back. Hold on, this goes back to what I said. I'm going left again. This goes back to what I said that I love Kenny. I love what Kenny did. I do not disagree. He could be number one, but this is why I said Roman should have been number one. Roman is legitimately carrying WWE right now, and every feud is with Roman. We got Roman going against fucking the Demon. We got Roman going against Brock. We got Roman going against New Day. Roman's fighting everybody. Why?
And we about to have Naomi join in that mix as far as Roman basically revitalizing Naomi's career.
Y'all saw that, right? Because I tweeted. I said they planting the seed.
I'm not getting my hopes up because they tried to plant that seed like 3 weeks ago and then they forgot about it. So
I'm only gonna get my hopes up because Roman is in charge right now, and obviously Naomi is actually, who is it? Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy's wife. So I think Roman will be like, yo, like, come on, bring her in. Like, she's not being used. It's family. Like, we got a family dynamic here. Let's go for it. So I'm gonna keep hope alive with because she is family. Has she been somebody else? Like, what's the other girl that was a cheerleader? Ariana?
Oh, Cameron?
Oh no. That's not the same thing. Wait. We're not gonna do this. That's nowhere near the same thing because she's. I'm just saying if it was her go in the ring. In the ring.
But what I'm saying, if it was her, I wouldn't have any faith about it.
Because she was on AEW when they were doing the tag team women's.
Yes.
She was terrible. She's still terrible. This is years later, but she was terrible then. She's terrible now. Naomi can go. Former SmackDown Women's Champion, like WWE seems to get that. But
don't be slandering home wrestling. Wrestling ain't easy.
I know it's not. But if you can't go, you can't go. I'm good. No, I'm sorry. I was raised by Haitian parents. We don't give grades for effort. But I would definitely say wrestling is hard. I do know that. I've wrestled amateur wrestling when I was in high school and middle school. I know wrestling is hard. So imagine pro wrestling. I know it's hard. You got to do this shit in front of thousands, millions of people, TV at home, all that. I understand. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying you can't compare someone who can go to someone who can't, and they're both getting pushed.
I got a sidebar question. All right, so wrestling's been around for how long?
Been around?
Yeah. Like how long have they been?
Since they used to be in circuses and shit, but that's like they were kind of like more real back then. Like people used to bet on them.
So give or take how many years?
Let's go.
Maybe 100.
Yeah, let's go 100. Let's go 100.
Okay, so since everything's evolved and changed, this is. I mean, if it's a dumb question, then it's dumb. But why can't they do anything to the ring so that they don't have to use the boards anymore? So when you take bumps.
I'm sure they've thought about it. I'm sure there's other things. Like I'm sure this is not the same thing they were doing 50 years ago. I'm sure like the ring is different but there's certain things about wrestling. First of all, wrestling is like really tribal and traditional. There's certain things they just won't change. Like when you start wrestling training, I have friends who started wrestling training. They're not like really good at anything. You got to run the ropes. So it's a thing everyone does.
I'm letting you know now. When the channel blows up and we get to where we get, I'm getting a ring in my back.
I've taken a back bump. Never again. I've ran the ring ropes. Those two things are not for me. That's why I'm a wrestling fan and not a wrestler.
First of all, I don't even think I'll be able to jump off of anything. That ain't for me. No.
Again, I've taken a back bump, hurts like hell, and I've run in the ring. And again, I was watching. I think this is one of the Dark Side of the Rings. It's one about one of the I forgot her name. One of the like woman greats. When she had a wrestling school, she literally you ran ropes for 3 months. Imagine being 110 pounds and that's what you're doing every morning. You live in this woman's house. You can't not do it. She won't wake you up. You live in there. She's taking care of your book and everything. You're going across territories because you're not in one, because that's just how you get on TV or at pay-per-views. And you just run into ropes because that's how hard it was back then. Now you run ropes for 2 weeks just to get your back bruises in and your back calluses
Okay.
up, and then you can do it. So I think it has evolved, but just not
That's what I
enough.
was gonna ask. What's wrong with the ropes?
They're so they got to be able to jump off of, but they also make sure they keep 300-pound people inside.
Is it like cable?
Well,
Escape, yeah.
let's ask Owen Hart what's wrong with the ropes.
Well, that's fucked up. That's a different rope problem. That's fucked up. Oh my god, it's been enough time. That's terrible. That's
There goes-
terrible.
No, I wasn't saying to be funny, but I'm just saying like
I'm pretty sure it's probably like this.
you know, if he would have hit the inside of the ring versus hitting the rope.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if he probably like he still would have been banged up, but he would have had his life. Of course, the ropes are the way that they are to try to protect the wrestlers from just being, if they get thrown and they get hit against the rope, that they'll not just like knock the whole structure down or and stuff like that. So, I mean, I get it. I think that they're also, it's not really more so just the ring that needs to probably be readjusted. With circling back to the dark side of the ring, if you think about it, and I guess it's more so adjusted now, it's just the prescription drug use. It seems like that's one of the biggest issues, you know, because these bumps, they are getting injured, they are trying to stay ahead so that they can continue to perform and get this money. I think once we really acknowledge that and get control of that, then other things will start falling in place. We kind of saw that, especially like when someone like Kurt Angle, you know, I'm a firm believer that when Kurt Angle did all that he did and he got that title as Kurt Angle, I think that Vince in his mind was like, maybe I should kind of like reevaluate our wellness policy kind of thing. Because I can't have wrestlers in here that is so in their wrestling and now they have an addiction. I can't continue to have that at least. I
think with that, it depends on how you wrestle. Like somebody like Edge and Randy Orton, the things are gonna happen to them because they take a lot of like Cody too. Cody takes unnecessary back bumps. One of his moves is to jump onto his back to give that slap. Like that's but like you see, like luchadors don't have those problems, and they're doing the most jumping and all this other crazy shit because they're not falling flat onto the reason why you take back bumps is because the biggest area of your body is supposed to spread out the pain. But if you're doing it enough, you're doing it a lot and a lot. Remember, some of these people are wrestling fucking at one point, thanks to the coronavirus, this is gone. But he's wrestling like 300 times a year. Like you taking back bumps, whether it's the same match or not, it's gonna fuck you up. So then you got the wellness policy changes because you don't want people to be addicted to opioids, but at the same time they're not allowed to smoke weed because this is something that's changing in America as something else that could help your body go through pain without fucking it up. But there's actually a dark side about pain medication for football. I haven't seen it yet, but it's like I saved the recording a while back. So but pain management is a problem across all sports. Like it's just a thing because you got these people doing this thing so much, and it's without it they can't make the money. But if they don't use these drugs, they won't be able to do it because your body's just not made for some of these things. Like that's why people. Let's think about big wrestlers.
I think some of the addictions were because of WWE. I mean, I'm pretty sure wrestlers got hurt, like we said, like we talked about,
and rush back.
Instead of your boss saying, "I know you fucked up right now, like go heal real quick. When you come back, we got you." It was like, "Bro, you leave. Your spot's gone."
Facts.
I don't know when you're coming back. And they were like, "Fuck that. I can't leave." And that's when the pop came.
Man.
Which is why I like AEW segment. That's why I like that they're giving time off. Like, all right, go do your thing real quick. Don't worry about it. We'll get you back in.
Yeah.
Without breaking or injuring him.
Look and see how with the Kenzo streaming problems.
See,
like
I told you I'm home now. I'm good. See, I was in the car. I told you I was fucking me up.
That's how I got the streaming problems. I guess next week I'll be the streaming problem.
No, you in the studio. You better know.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
She on a super froze.
No.
Over here is no.
I thought it was back.
What else? What else we got before we end it? Since we're having problems with the stream, because it was basically a Dark Side recap.
Yeah, so the next episode, I remember looking at what it was because y'all was talking about it in the group chat, but I don't remember. I think it's actually like a situation I actually don't know. Like, I've heard nothing about, so that's gonna be interesting for me. Let me see. Dark Side season. Yeah, Chris Canyon. I have nothing. I have no idea what that is. So
I think it was by
You
him
didn't see
saying,
that?
huh?
Oh, y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we here.
a little bit,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's next week's episode. That's the one I was talking about where he was a wrestler that was gay and everybody knew it. And there was a recording because he went to Howard Stern and he was doing an interview with him. And, you know, Howard Stern had Ric Flair on the phone. And I guess, I don't know if Rick knew that Chris was there. But he's like, oh yeah, well, he just wasn't that great. He was a good wrestler, but he wasn't that great. And then he basically tells Chris that, well, you made the choice to be gay, so that's why you were fired. So that's why I was saying, if it wasn't this week's episode that's gonna basically like put the nail in the coffin for Rick, it's definitely gonna be next week's episode. So right now, Rick is going to have a really hard 2 weeks. I just want to know how, like, can somebody check on Charlotte, see how she's doing?
Well, I mean, I see on Instagram she's having a lovely day with Andrade.
Well, again, I think she said it before that she knows like her relationship with her dad wasn't always good, and I'm pretty sure it's because of stuff like this. She knows who her father is. I'm better than any of us do, but it's definitely come out like not come out, but like where she talks about it. It's like, you know, we're good now, but that's after years of him being on the road and us trying to work through this shit. So
there's no way your dad's a nature boy. You don't know who he is.
And people telling me about him. Like, this is what's going to happen. Especially her brother wants to be a wrestler. He got in the game. I'm sure he saw some stuff while he was on the road with Rick, and they were really tight. So he probably came back and told her before he passed, like, hey, you know, dad does this, that. Like, it's probably, you know, discussed.
Rest in peace, David.
Shit is crazy.
So sad.
It's crazy that she said she only became a wrestler because of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so she's literally like genetically just gifted. You can tell like
we almost
born to be a wrestler.
Like we almost didn't get a Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how things happen.
I like multi-generational wrestlers usually, except when they try to turn Rick Steiner's son into Braun Breaker, whatever the fuck his name is, NXT. Jesus.
You know what's I don't get it, but when I saw him, I thought he was going to be something.
Thing is Braun Breaker supposed to be literal? Is he supposed to be like Braun Strowman? I don't understand what's going on here. You know they don't repeat names. This shit got to be intentional. Like they already wasn't gonna have Adam Cole as Adam Cole because of Michael Cole. So if he's Braun Breaker, this is got to mean something significant. I'm just hey.
So then maybe if Braun does show up at AEW, then he's not Braun, obviously, because he can't use the name there. So
we lost to Braun. Let's make a new one. Here.
Right.
But he does look like he has promise, and the Steiner brothers could go. So
they were nice and stiff, boy.
If he's anything like his dad and his what uncle, then he's got a bright future.
Big Papa.
But I am surprised. I mean, well, I'm not surprised because Vince likes big dudes, pause. But the way that they did LA Knight, I was a little shocked because I thought they were building LA Knight.
Oh,
they were. No, you didn't. You thought no, they were. No. You saw what you saw. They were building.
Yep.
That was before they were like big dudes only under 30, nothing else. That was. You gotta be above 6'3" and under 30 years old. None of that shit. We smacking motherfuckers. That's what it is.
You know what I saw on Twitter that I thought was funny is someone tweeted. Eventually I'll remember and I'll start telling y'all who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure y'all subscribe when y'all here. But someone tweeted, isn't the new NXT 2.0 supposed to be everybody young, and the champ is Tommaso?
I think that's important. I think they did that on purpose. I think Tommaso, because Tommaso he is NXT. Like Goldie is his again. Like Tommaso is he's on the main roster. We saw what that was, but he belongs. He is what NXT has been for a long time. And the thing is, they're changing some stuff. They're trying to make it more colorful, but they're not going to change like that hard hitting. Like that's what NXT is. Like especially you're gonna get big dudes in to not be hard hitting. You got rid of the flippy dudes. You're not gonna get more flippy. You're gonna get more power, technical wrestling, all that stuff. So Tommaso fits. He's not as big as these guys, but he's still that kind of wrestler. So I think he still fits that. Yeah, he still fits that profile.
I love Tommaso as champ. It was funny because they said they were trying to make it young, but the champ is old.
But that was a lie. They said young because when you know why they said young? Because they don't want indie guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you create your own guys, they can't be people who've been on the indies 6 years. You getting big dudes who just finished college football, didn't make it to NFL. All the way we got Brock and Roman, like a lot of these guys, they wanted to do football, they wanted to do this. They were big dudes and they didn't want to do wrestling, but here they are doing wrestling.
I think 2.0. I think it's too bright.
You know, it's funny. I did have a problem with the CWC. I thought it was too dark, but this is also way too like they couldn't find something in the middle. They went all the way on the other end. And I'm like, there.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I do like is I do like the seating.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
The seating does look fire, but that shit is bright as fuck.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all before we skedaddle. In regards to Dark Side of the Ring, knowing what we know now, seeing what we have seen, if you've seen any of the previous episodes, just go in. What are 3 different people that you would like to see, or situations that you would like to see showcased on Dark Side of the Ring to bring more light to it?
Kayla, you go first.
All right, so I've seen the first 2 seasons. So I've seen Owen Hart. I've seen Fabulous Moolah. That was the lady I was talking about earlier. I couldn't remember her name. Fabulous Moolah.
Okay.
Seen New Jack, which love him or hate him. Oh my god, that episode was
Crazy.
New Jack is fucking insane.
Yo, you see what he did to that dude for payback?
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, I know you're talking about the guy on the scaffold. Yeah, he almost killed that dude. That guy, he did land in the ring and his neck didn't break. That's what
he didn't give a shit about it. He's like, payback's a bitch, but go ahead.
Yeah, Montreal Screwjob, all those. So I think every story we're gonna hear now is gonna be like, again, I knew who Chris Canyon was, but I didn't know about what you're talking about. So I think and they already lined up what the next couple episodes gonna be. I don't know what they are, but I know who the Dynamite Kid is. But like these stories that they're telling, yeah, we want to know about Chris Benoit, but I didn't know I needed 2 episodes for it. Like that's something like Brian Pillman. I know who Brian Pillman was. That's around the time I started watching wrestling, but I didn't know he needed 2 episodes for himself. So I think any stories they're gonna come out with, I'm gonna take because I don't like even knowing what I know, I'm not prepared. So I might as well just whatever they let them do them. They're doing a good job. They don't need no help from me, unlike Raw.
So off the top of my head, I mean, I probably think as I'm talking, but off the top of my head, I want Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorites. Like I legit cried when he passed away.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But all the shit that he did, like from struggling and addiction and climbing back to the top, and how much people loved him, like how much, like even CM Punk said, like during one of the last matches, like he gave back to CM Punk, was like, "Nah, you got this, bro. I got you." Like I would love to see one on Eddie.
Right. So one big one for me, and I also asked this question on Twitter, and someone said it, and I didn't know how much I needed to see this episode until the end of whatever the first episode was. Was it the first episode? No, it was the end of the Montreal Screwjob with Jim Cornette and Vince Russo when they were.
Oh my god!
When he was like, I will make sure that I outlive this man to go and piss on his grave. He's like, my wife has direct instructions that she knows what's supposed to happen. Like, he's like, if she doesn't, she will be taken out of the will. Like, I need to see. And they kind of touch on it a little bit in that episode with the Montreal Screwjob, I guess, as far as
you get to see him again season 2, by the way.
Yes, but I want to see just an episode solely on these two, like on their beef with each other. I feel as though somebody may die in the end.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like there'll be a definite, like based on the other episodes on the Brawl for All. So when you get to that, you'll see.
Okay.
So
yeah,
but again, personally, Vince Russo has his faults, but some of the
They
car
both do.
crash television that was on during the Attitude Era, it was for me. I was also a kid at the time, so that makes sense.
Right.
But it was great. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, it didn't work out with WCW or TNA, but some of the stuff that was Vince Russo's idea that we know is his, not the Brawl for All, obviously. It was golden. Jim
Right.
Cornette he is a wrestling. We talked about this when he had his comments for AEW a while back. He's a wrestling encyclopedia. There's things he knows. Like there's stuff he has his place in the game. He doesn't believe in like comedic wrestling, so I don't. And I love comedic wrestling. It's one of Kenny Omega's best things. So like, but at the same time, he knows what he's talking about for a lot of this. So I do respect both of them. Their time has passed apparently because they ain't nobody hiring them no more. They got their own podcast. You want to listen to them, you go listen to them. There ain't nobody else bringing them in no more. But that episode would be fire. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that'd be something. I can't
honestly. It made me want to go and actually read Vince Russo's book. Like this is how like deep like of a beef that I saw that they have, and I'm just like I always knew that they didn't really like each other, but you know Cornette was like, hate's a strong word, but that's how I feel.
In the Brawl for All episode, you could tell he's disgusted with them. I don't know how they were in meetings. Like it was just the four of them. It was them two, JR and Vince. And I'm like, Vince don't seem like the person who have tolerance to watch two people bicker back and forth. I can't imagine because JR looked like he was sick of it in the episode. So I'm like, I know Vince would have been even worse.
Look, I'm about to go watch that episode as soon as we get off.
What about?
Yep.
Do that.
Yeah, you know someone I want to watch. Someone else I would have want on there, obviously because they dive deep into it. Is Rikishi because there seemed to be some shit between him and the Sons. Because like if you ever remember like when they were bringing it back, like they didn't really get along.
Being the child of a wrestler seems to suck. Like I'm like based on everything we know.
In fact, that's what I meant. Total divas. Because didn't Rikishi not show up for his wedding or some shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's got to be deep shit in it that I'd be curious to like see. Plus, you know, obviously their other brother is now I think going to be on NXT or some shit. So
he signed.
So. And then obviously he has a faction out there in the Indies now with the other cousin, like Fatu, I forgot his name, Jacob, I think.
Yeah, Jacob.
But I would love to see just more about what's going on. Like without having to
cover that whole Samoan dynasty.
Yeah, without having to get the same Rock story or the Roman story.
Yeah.
I want a Roman story, but not now. But we've already seen like the Rock side and shit like that. Like I would like to see that. That'd be cool.
Let's see. Youngblood Ginger said, "Hey y'all, hey."
Yeah.
Russo admitted to watching Jerry Springer while writing Raw stories. Yes, he did, and they actually did. Like Cornette, you know, ripped him about it on the Dark Side of the Ring on that particular episode. He's like, "Oh, but all his stuff was geared towards Jerry Springer, and it was just so bad. Like that's all that he wants." Oh wait, so this is funny. Remember, I said I asked this question on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just now like reading over some of the things that people said, and one thing that just caught my eye was somebody said the WWF Ring Boy scandal. Someone said WWE Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I don't want. Oh my god.
Oh right when. Oh yeah.
Yeah, caught on that plane.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I want to see that.
Oh, that's for me. That's just for me.
Yes, that's a good point. This person was hitting. Hold on. Oh, their account is Cringe Wrestling Take, so that makes sense. Let's see. CM Punk leaving WWE and the lawsuit that followed.
With him and Kurt
Cabana. Oh, yo, I'm waiting for some on-screen interaction in AEW. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
Me too.
Oh, because Colt Cabana seemed like he was not gonna get over it ever. He seemed like he was like ready to die about his opinion.
You know what? Since we talked about him, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
I would like to see the backstory of Mr. Perfect.
Right. I wouldn't mind that. Someone said Jerry Lawler's 1993 accusation.
I don't want to see anything about Jerry Lawler. I will throw the fuck up. I do not need to see Jerry Lawler's allegations, accusations. I don't need to see any of that. I will go 3 months without watching wrestling after that because Jerry Lawler still comes on TV.
Yeah. So, someone said Hogan versus Savage. I mean, they kind of
They had beef, but I don't
They
want.
kind of touched
We don't
on
talk about
it.
him. We don't talk about him. I don't want to see anything with him. I don't talk about him.
Right. That mystery.
Like I don't like him
Red
so much.
shirt man.
I don't even know if I want to watch Chris Hemsworth portray him. That's how serious it is.
Well, they did touch on that on Savage's episode.
Yeah, he had an
because
episode,
I
yeah.
did see that. Yeah. So they touched on that with the red shirt man. You know, and there was a lot of resentment from what I saw that it seemed like Savage had towards that man with Mrs. Elizabeth. Like I didn't realize that ran as deep with Miss Elizabeth. Like she ran out on him and was like, I'm going to Miami. I was like, oh, sweetie. Ooh. And then the fact that then WCW, which I do remember, put that as a whole storyline, and I'm like,
because they're messy.
So
you remember Matt and Edge?
That's what I was gonna say. I want to see that on Dark Side of the Ring. I want to see Matt, Edge, Lita, Dark Side of the Ring. Book it.
I'm with it.
Book it. Because we know that was as messy. First of all, they had Lita and Edge in the ring having sex. Like, can we just flash back to some of this stuff?
People say the wrong people
series.
win feuds now. Like, why did Matt not go over? He is the victim here and the babyface. Like,
right.
I think the values of WWE have been what they've been for forever. Like that's
because I think even though he was in the right to feel the way he felt, he was doing too much.
Oh, someone said I wouldn't be surprised if the red shirt man has accusations against him. Definitely.
He seems to be all around horrible person. So yeah.
I definitely would not put that past him whatsoever. Especially look who he was running with.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the crew of people that he was running with. Knowing what we know now, seeing what we saw, there's no way. I mean, I don't want to say no way because if he didn't, he didn't. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, like, first of all, can we just say I would like to see an episode of Dark Side of the Ring we can cover the Attitude Era in general, but more specifically, I want to know what was inside that sick man's head when he decided to do an incest storyline with him and his daughter, and then decided to change, was going to do it with him or her and Shane. I kind of want to.
I'm telling you, when I heard that, I'm like, Vince has got to be the sickest person on the planet. Like, oh, you want to do me? That's fine. How about Shane? What? How are you not understanding what the problem is here? Sir,
and the way that Stephanie just kind of recalls the situation, like when she was talking about it.
Oh,
the scary part was she was just like, yeah, like I said no, like I wasn't comfortable with that, but it came off like, what happens behind closed doors, sweetie? Because you seem a little too normal for that.
So I got one, but I'm gonna read what Youngblood said. Christian and Jeff, he would like to see one. Maybe Hurricane Helms or Shannon Moore. Christian. I love Christian, but it seems like it would be a boring story, like for what I know. But no shade, because I love Christian, especially Christian Cage. I love his music. When it hits, you get a pop from me. I just don't think that I would be, maybe I do need it because I don't know what's behind the scenes, so maybe I would. But
it's gonna be spicy.
But the Jeff Hardy one. Jeff
needs a whole series.
That might be tough to get through. I ain't gonna lie to you. That might be tough. Down and out like that. But I mean, again, Grizzly Smith episode. Once you see that, you understand. You see motherfuckers down and out.
And then to do that Jeff episode, then you gotta have Sheamus on there talking about his feelings of them putting that in a storyline. Because that was
okay.
When you look back at that storyline, it's like these motherfuckers was sick. Like.
It was like the fourth time.
Bar fight.
So this is what I thought when you said Stephanie. I want to know, did Randy Macho Savage really get with Stephanie or not? Somebody knows.
Wait a second. I just started calculating. How old was she?
Yeah, I don't know, but the big rumor that's always been is that Vince never let him back in because of that.
You about to.
I'm saying, bro.
Okay, Stephanie Marie McMahon. Hold on.
Toxic environment, bro.
Cause what? Oh, yeah, right. She would have been a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is like all okay. Stephanie McMahon breaks silence on Randy Savage.
Oh no.
This was May 3rd of this past year.
I'm pretty sure she said what? Nothing happened.
I pretty much guarantee.
But Savage was never allowed back.
You know they got that them NDAs and shit.
Wait, did I miss this? There was a A&E special? Oh, there was. Oh, okay. I must have missed this. I didn't even know about it. There was an A&E biography on Randy Savage that put light on that topic. So now, guess what I'll be doing later?
I think I knew that came out. I just didn't know that was something that was touched on.
I just don't know when
that was
came out factually. No one has came out that we can credit and be like, yeah, so we know for sure that this didn't happen, or we know for sure that it did.
Ooh.
But
it says there isn't any concrete evidence to point towards anything happening between Stephanie and Macho Man. The special from A&E also doesn't mention anything about the matter, and money flows heavier when there's some dirt on it. So it wouldn't make sense for them to skip this allegation if it were true. I don't know. We'll see. Because Dark Side of the Ring, they don't cater to anybody. They're listen.
I think looking at it now, because I just looked at it, season 1 was only 6 episodes, so it's not really fair. But season 3 to me is heat, but season 2 got a lot of bangers. They got New Jack in there. They got the 2-part on Chris Benoit. You got Jimmy Snuka in there. You got the Brawl for All. You got the Slap Heard Around the World. And then you got Owen Hart.
Real quick, Jimmy Snuka. That's Tamina's father, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He didn't murder somebody?
Yeah. Alleged. Yeah. No, he killed her.
Yeah, it's not even alleged at this
point.
I'm
about to say it's not allegedly no more. He killed her.
Yeah. Who did he kill?
His ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, something like that.
Ex-wife?
Something like that. He's in jail.
He's dead.
Well, no, he's dead.
Yeah, he died last year, 2 years ago, some shit like that. Recently.
He died,
fairly recently.
And then he died no, I don't want to laugh, but he died and then they put him in a Hall of Fame, if I remember correctly.
He was not on the right side of the fence at the end.
So he murdered somebody, he's in the Hall of Fame?
So
Donald Trump is in the Hall of Fame.
I was gonna say Scott Hall killed somebody. It was self-defense though.
Yeah. But Chris Benoit isn't?
Now you
okay, so the thing with Chris Benoit is they went hard on RIP before they had all the information that when it came out that first of all that what he did, and then on top of that, that's probably because his head been done in from doing flying headbutts for y'all company, plus doing steroids in y'all company. You can't double down on that because it's at least partially your fault. Like Jimmy Snuka it's all on Jimmy Snuka, and then for forever he.
No, what I'm saying is they need to keep the same energy. If you're not gonna have a murderer, don't have a murderer.
But it's not the same thing to them because that's the thing. To them, they enabled him to murder for one. For the other one, it was Jimmy Snuka wrestled here. That's back because when he did it, it wasn't just WWF. It was territories, and he came around. And when they give legends, because a lot of those legends that they give the Hall of Famers had nothing to do with what they even did with WWE. Because some of them people in the Hall of Fame who was never in WWF.
Goldberg.
But again, at
Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. He just went in, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything for WWE until the latter.
Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah. Correct.
First off, they're dumb because they don't even really have a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's stupid.
As big as WWE is,
that happened in '83. He was indicted in 2015, and he was put in the Hall of Fame before that.
First of all, WWE doesn't have a lot of things that they should have. Like, yes, they should have a Hall of Fame, which should double as a museum. Like, you have had this business for decades, and how do you not have something centered around?
This man retired in 2015, but had most washed up wrestler in 1984. Why was you wrestling so long after getting the most washed up wrestler award? Jesus.
He was trying to push through. My whole thing is, I have always thought this, right? Hear me out. I thought that Vince should have built his own arena. He should build one in the East Coast. He should build one in the West Coast. And then when he could do the battle of, the arenas and stuff like that, or the battle of the coast and have it like that. But then that also helps his wrestlers that have to come out of pocket with traveling, because then hey,
I
if
can live
I'm
here.
on this show, right, I can live on this part of the US because that's fine. I don't have to pay maybe as much for traveling, yada, yada, yada. And then in those same arenas, because now you're keeping all your money in house, you don't have to travel around if you don't want to, because obviously it's a WWE. It goes back to that phrase: if you build it, they will come. People are going to show up. Regardless, people will show up. He can do it in the middle of Vegas in the freaking desert. People will show up. Have it like that. Have a little like museum underneath. Have the Hall of Fame. Have it like legit so that people could get an experience. Like,
Think about
once
the
he
way.
closed down the cafe.
Think about the way Vince likes to make money from his business model, and a lot of things I've seen and things I've heard about closed doors is there's too much maintenance and something like that. There's too much money that gotta go back into it. That's why wrestlers don't have insurance. It's not like he wouldn't think about, hey, I probably get even better wrestlers. They probably even go harder, all this other stuff if they had insurance. But I'll save money, so I'm not gonna give him insurance.
I mean,
Right.
Vince, once you can't make money out of it, you're done.
Right, exactly. So that's the thing. Like a Hall of Fame is like at some point, no matter. I mean, yes, they keep putting people in, but at some point, people
He
coming
can
in is gonna
build
slow
it.
down.
Well, matter of fact, he got a little something at corporate in Connecticut. He can have it there.
That's his like toy box. That's for him to see. That's not for us. Oh, just to go back on that, Jimmy Snicker was put in the Hall of Fame in 1996. So Murder was in 83, 96 induction, 2015 retiring, and that's when he got indicted at the same time.
I mean, technically, their Hall of Fame is a joke.
That's what it was.
Technically, the Hall of Fame is a joke. There's people that shouldn't be in there. There's people that should be that aren't in there. Like,
Drew Carey is in the Hall of Fame.
They always put celebrities in there.
He was on one episode of something forever ago, and it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
At least the Donald Trump stuff was entertaining, and it was multiple episodes and a WrestleMania. Drew Carey was on like an episode right before the Royal Rumble.
He would make more money. He would make more money if he had a Hall of Fame. Because if you look at those episodes, I haven't watched all of them, but I've seen some. If you look at the episodes where they're trying to chase some of the memorabilia, like people go hard for that shit.
It would save us all these legend nights, but again, that's the proper rating, so they need to keep those every once in a while in the chamber.
Oh, he's still stirring one up for all this stuff that AEW is doing. So,
for sure.
Yeah. So, last question, since we brought up AEW before we go, Tony Khan recently said he has one ace up the sleeve. What do you think it is?
I don't know. The man is because he oversold Christian like a mother. Like I'll keep saying I love Christian, but he oversold it. He said it was life changing, and
not really, because Christian is doing a lot there.
He is, but he oversold it. Like I'm not saying Christian isn't doing good. He had two great matches with Kenny Omega. He's doing things with Jungle Boy. I like Christian, but he was making it seem like we were getting Daniel Bryan or CM Punk then. So we did it. We didn't eventually get him. So who cares? But the man, it ranges from anything. It could be a little thing. It could be disrespect.
Don't be disrespecting Christian Cage. Put some respect on him.
Hey.
He's looking amazing over there.
Word.
Correct.
He's looking like he did an Impact when he left WWE. When the Impact, he had a crazy run in Impact.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
I think it's Bray.
I think it's Bray.
It's either Bray or the trios belts.
No, he already said he's doing that though.
Yeah, but he hasn't actually presented them.
No,
and we get more trios matches. It seems like we get a trios match at least twice a week.
I think ace up the sleeves means a person.
Well, I hope so.
Who's bigger than Bray? That's a free agent.
It's a free agent, no.
Now, it could, in hindsight, right?
Tommy
now,
Dreamer.
this is complete. Bleh. This could be completely like.
He's a free agent now. That's all I'm saying.
Oh Lord, no. Somebody's contract is up in December. Not saying that they won't re-sign with NXT, but who knows? At this point, who knows? You know, it's back to where it used to be, like before social media, which I love it. We don't know at this point. It could be Johnny takeover. You never know. You like at this point because now before Candace was pregnant, before that was a thing, it was he probably won't leave. He'll
That's also
stay there
before
with his
it was the
wife.
land of the giants again.
Right. And now it's like I don't know. He might jump ship. Why not? But
I mean, I like
don't know.
Johnny. I like Johnny, but is Johnny a pop like that?
I think it might be.
I don't think Johnny's a
Hello,
pop.
stuff. I don't know. I think he's a pop. Yes, I think Bray will be the bigger pop.
Yeah,
But it all depends on how he brings him in. That you have to be careful with. I think that is going to be the most gentle part about this thing because you can bring Bray in, sure. But you better bring Bray in like you need to bring him in. Youngblood says, Buddy Murphy, yes, we do know that's coming.
Lana is
Buddy
not
Murphy.
Stop it.
Lana?
Stop it.
I liked Miro's little thing that he said last night when he was like, oh, you know, what he said about God on top and his wife on the bottom.
Those one-liners, they get me every time. Every time you mention,
I was like,
thanks for two things: God and a flexible wife. Great. You can't. There's no better than that.
I don't think Buddy Murphy is a ace in the card type.
Okay, so
or Lana.
So yeah, I don't think so either. I'm about to say some people who I don't think are up there either. The Iconics are really good, but they're not ace in the sleeve type of things. Tessa Blanchard, we talk about being nuclear. Davey Boy Smith Jr. I watch him on MLW. He's not that much of a needle mover to me personally. I like him, but just because you're Davey Boy Smith Jr. don't mean automatically again. No. So who else? RVD is on this list, I guess technically, because he's not on Legends contract. So Alexander Wolf, not for me.
RVD would get a for the moment pop.
Yeah, it's not a long term thing.
Right.
Like he would be like a Casino Royale type.
Yeah.
Like just show up for that and then get the pop and go. I think it's got to be Bray. Like I would imagine maybe like some of the New Japan dudes, but that would be like a crossover, like Okada, Ibushi,
Tanahashi. Oh my god!
Like I imagine those, but not to sign.
Yeah, not to sign. Or we could get, obviously they send someone to watch our videos and they're gonna do our WrestleMania idea, and then we're gonna get credit.
Yeah. All right. So last thing, like we said, last thing for real, because this isn't a recap like we usually do. But Ruby and Britt was hitting.
Were they?
That shot was crazy. She's like, you the same, just she said whatever she said, and she's like, and then fucking some dude in the back. And I was like, woo.
Tell you, maybe shoot season over there. Them boys, that's it's funny how this isn't sports entertainment, but it's more sporting than sports entertainment is. Like, this is pro wrestling, but
I thought Britt was gonna be done, but then Britt was like, "Bud, you got fired."
Right. I was like, damn.
But I tell you, when Christian dropped that line the other day, I was like, "Oh, there's nothing off limits here."
Oh, since you're used to losing on Wednesdays.
Yeah, to get ready to lose a Friday Night War too. I was like, God damn. And he's like, oh, your friends who pulled you out of developmental. I was like, God damn. Knowing that Adam Cole is arguably a better wrestler than the Young Bucks, but still.
And Ruby,
that's right.
She said, oh, I always knew who I was, but now I'm allowed to be who I am. Like I can show you now. Like, okay.
They're dropping them seeds for Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega, and I'm like, it's funny. The thing about AEW is I do love Long Storm Terry, but they be dropping these seeds way when you damn sure not getting it no time soon. So it's like, damn, I don't wait like 6 months for this.
But it makes you want to keep watching.
Okay, so
of course.
What did they drop? I missed it.
So when they were saying when he came out, right, on the pop, remember he called himself and Kenny two different things. He's like, Kenny's the greatest wrestler of all time, and he said, I'm a once in a generation talent. And they're saying this knowing Daniel Bryan's gonna be wrestling against Kenny Omega for the title of who's the best in the world, because they're not doing it for the title for real. So when you weave that together with something, he said something else on BTE because remember Kenny was like, so how are we gonna tell him that we tried to get rid of him? So they're gonna revisit that. So remember how we talked about the faction war? We might not get a faction war. It might just be Kenny versus Cole, and then you see where the young boys slide, and we gonna see. We might get Mount Rushmore because we're still talking about that. It's just so much.
What are they planning to see for KO?
Yeah, they might be, but the thing is,
right.
One very big difference that makes a difference is, and it also makes a difference for Bray coming in, is when is Adam Page coming back? Because we don't know. Because he could be the one who just come in and sort out Dark Order, or he could come back straight into his feud with Kenny. There's so much like someone who's not even on TV that he making such a big difference without being here. So I think Adam Page makes a big difference on both of those points for us to know what was coming next, or in 3 months or 6 months. It might not be next. Who knows? We don't know.
Look, AEW is slaughtering it right now. Like they have me wanting to travel to every freaking place that
I bought my tickets for the Miami. I bought my combo tickets for the Miami shows. So Friday and Saturday I'm in that B. October 15th and 16th. I ain't playing no games, bruh.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
yo, it's like that. Like they're bringing that feeling back. That feeling that I was feeling like that yesterday when I was watching, and they were like, "Oh, the main event," and I'm like, "Damn, it's about to end already!"
Right?
Like,
yo, that promo game is so tight because when I text you it's about to be lit, I thought I was getting Daniel and Kenny. That's why I said it. I was like, oh shit, I fooled myself.
It's so.
Oh, real quick again, like this is supposed to be done, but this is AEW for you. I did not know I wanted to see Sammy versus Miro.
right?
I was saying it because remember we talked about opponents, and I said I did, but that was before Fuego del Sol came back in again. So I was saying things. Remember, I said Sammy could be credible, but they're gonna have to make he's gonna be a lot of stuff. But now you got the Fuego del Sol stuff because I didn't even know he had a contract with AEW, even though he's been there this whole time because he don't wrestle nowhere else because CML is closed. CML has not come back. They had their pay-per-view, but that was it. So I'm like, okay. But then they dropped that. I was like, wait, time out. Sammy is really close to Fuego del Sol. If you watch Sammy's vlogs, which I don't anymore, but I used to. And I was like, wait a second. They could be dropping that. But again, they do seem to. I think it's partially because they're young. They like to keep long reigns, so it might be too soon for a Miro reign to end. But at the same time, Brody's run wasn't long at all. So I mean, we really.
Yeah, but that whole thing yesterday, I was like, I did not know I wanted to see this.
But Sammy could go. Sammy's.
No, I know he could go, but I just didn't think I wanted to see the feud.
When we talk about the future, we talk about MJF, we talk about Darby, we talk about Jungle Boy. A lot of times people forget to mention Sammy, and he's the same age bracket. And he's just as talented.
Yep,
it was fire.
The talent is the key component in that one. I can't wait. So excited.
All right, people, we'll wrap it up because we'll keep going.
Yeah, we really would. So
let me know all the people that came through. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like it, subscribe, comment, rewatch it, reshare it, and we'll be back next week again.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully nothing too spicy.
Always spicy.
I'm so worried.
Right?
Oh, that's what I should do every time. Every time we leave, this is what I should do.